brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. It's your journey. Own every mile in a brand new Hyundai. NFL Draft coming up this Thursday, meaning the Jets and Packers re-engaged the Aaron Rodgers to New York trade talk this past week. Ryan Poles, he pulled off the biggest blockbuster to this point, the trading of the #1 pick to the Panthers. Cassie and I got together with former Bears quarterback Jim Miller earlier today and asked Mills if he's happy with the job that Poles has done thus far.
I think right now he's done a great job. Obviously, to get the haul that he got to trade from 1 to 9, and I think they're sitting in a good spot. I think that's when tackles start to come off the board. There's still going to be a couple of good corners that people will consider, because depending on how the quarterbacks that get taken above them, it's going to push good players down, where it could give Ryan Poles another opportunity to trade back as well. So if a team wants to come up to maybe grab a good corner or say the top tackle, they could trade down and maybe grab the tackle of their choice, or even a corner or a nickelback that is there that are supposed to go pretty high as well.
Jim, as a quarterback yourself, you know the importance of a good offensive line. It was a weak spot on this Bears team last year. Where would you go in taking an O lineman on Thursday? Would that rank higher for you in your priorities over D-line?
Yeah, I have no problem. I think when you grab a top-tier tackle, that's a 10 to 15-year player, especially the guys that are up at the top this year. For me personally, guys that I think would be excellent picks for the Bears would be one, Paris Johnson Jr. of Ohio State. To me, Paul Alexander, who coached offensive line 30 years in the NFL, he thinks he's the next Jonathan Ogden. He's that good of a player. I mean, he's a gold jacket player. And then I would think you'd think about Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones he's athletic like a tight end, but he's just got unbelievable feet at the tackle position. So to me, those are the top two guys that I would think the Bears would covet.
All right, hold on, Jimmy. Gold jacket player, you can't just slide that by me. If Paris Johnson Jr. is still there when the Bears pick 9th, then they have to pick this guy. They can't trade down, right?
I agree, but some have other players rated higher. Tackles are probably going to start right at the bottom of pick 10, going all the way through the mid-teens. And so if a team wants to jockey up, as long as you don't trade down too far, and you've got two tackles that that you feel are great players, and you're happy with either one, if you're able to trade back 2 spots, you're still going to get one of them. So, and then you can still get value, add another pick or so, and then maybe you can work your way back into the first round if they so choose to do that. Because I think the Bears, they got to come out with 3 top things with their first 3 picks in the top 100. They got to get a stud offensive lineman that we just talked about. They need to get a war daddy on defense, whether it's an edge player or a defensive tackle, and then you would think cornerback. I think they need one more cornerback, but there's going to be good corners later, so maybe that may not be the direction they go early. I would think it'd be O-line.
So you're obviously high on Paris Johnson Jr. What's your case for Peter Skoronski? Because a lot of people like him since he's from the Chicagoland area, played at Northwestern, and he has a ton of experience at left tackle.
Yeah, he's right in the backyard of the Bears. He's a good athlete. I played with a player similar to him, and that'd be Matt Light of the New England Patriots, who was a great player. Had shorter arms as a tackle. Normally, you want your tackles to have, over 33 inch arms. 33 to 34 is really top of the line, and Peter doesn't have that. So there are some that think he's going to be better. He's going to be like a Pro Bowl guard more than he is a tackle, because there's just some teams that'll look at him in the lack of arm length, and just through those traits alone, they'll consider him more of a tackle. But if I'm a team, you draft him, you play him at tackle because he's got the feet like Matt Light does. And if it doesn't work out, you always kick him into tackle. But he's a very smart player, very good player, and is considered one of the top tackles in this year's draft.
All right, Jimmy, if Jalen Carter is still there when the Bears are ready to pick at 9, are you concerned with the character issues? Would you take him?
I'd take him. I think he's that good of a player. Their misdemeanor issues, certainly the character issues you gotta look at. And he seems like he's cleaned that up as this process has come closer to the draft. All the top teams that maybe took him off the board, they're starting to warm up to him. That's why you saw him visit so many teams in the top 10. Think about Drew Rosenhaus, his agent. He said he will not drop out of the top 10. Why would Drew Rosenhaus say that? because he's got assurances by Philadelphia that Philly says if he drops this far, we're taking your client, Drew. So that's why everybody's circled back, knowing he's not going to make it out of the top 10. Bears need war daddies. He's one of them. You got to have a strong locker room. You got to have a strong coaching staff to really bring this young man along.
Okay, but this is a front office and coaching staff that talks about their priority being having high character guys in the locker room. So what do you think it says if they take the risk on Carter if he does fall to 9?
Well, I think it says that they cleared up in the second interviews with the Bears any concerns that they had. You know, I think really here's what you need to know about him. One, why did you lie to the police? All right, tell us the truth. All right, we know that you were evasive in those interviews. Then 2, why were you out of shape at your pro day? You know, are you lazy? Did you not know that the workout was coming? What was the reasons for that? Maybe it was all the distractions from the combine. I don't know. But those are the type of questions the Bears are going to ask Jalen Carter in order to feel comfortable enough to select him.
All right, Jim, you showed us a book of 350 draft prospects just before we started this interview. Can you show everyone how thick that is and maybe give us a name of someone who you're high on that we're not hearing much about?
Yeah, well, here I'll start with the quarterback. So I have every position labeled, and then I take notes on every guy. All right, so this is just the quarterback section. So, for instance, this is Tyson Bagent. All right, he's a quarterback from Shepherd. He threw for over 5,000 yards and over 50 touchdowns. And so he's a small school kid that made it all the way to the Senior Bowl. Really good athlete. His dad's an arm wrestling champion. But there's just players like him that are littered throughout this book that nobody knows about. We always talk about the top picks, and Tyson Bagent may not even get selected. He's going to be a 7th rounder, priority free agent, but he's done enough and has shown enough that he's going to get an opportunity in the NFL.
What great info from Jimmy Miller. All right, we're going to recap the Bears draft next Sunday night, 10 o'clock, here on the Sports Zone. We're going to have the Bears radio team of Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer joining Cassie and I. They're going to break down the decisions made by Ryan Poles and the rest of the Bears front office staff. Again, next Sunday, 10 o'clock, right here on Fox 32 Chicago, your home of the Bears. We are not done talking.